And with that, Tenko snapped. The knife, laying close by, was suddenly in her hands, and the next thing she knew, she was over Korekiyo's prone body. The knife came down. It came down again and again, each time spilling more and more of Korekiyo's blood. And more of Tenko's tears. It was too late now. Tenko tossed the knife aside after that, Tenko continued. It wasn't until a few minutes later she realized it fell in the pool. On some level, I'm happy it did. It's better this way. What? What are you? Was about all Kaede could muster. The group was dumbfounded by Tenko's story. It seemed too insane to be real. And yet, she seemed too distraught by the memory to be faking it.
You've got to be bullshitting us,
Miu declared.
There's no way anyone could be that much of a freak, right?
As if in response, the video screens nearby flared to life, catching the eyes of the students. The scene playing showcased the now late Korekiyo in his dorm room. The long-haired boy set down the video player he was carrying and composed himself. Then, to the shock of the group, he lowered his mask, revealing the lips Tenko had described.
Korekiyo,
the recorded boy said to no one.
You understand, right? You mean so much to me, but when you send me friends, it just makes me so happy.
He raised the mask back up.
Do not worry, my dear sister. The time will come soon. I just need to be careful this time.
The screens cut out after that. The point had been made. Korekiyo was just as unhinged as Tenko had described. Like Korekiyo? Angie muttered. You were... Whoa.
To think he was hiding something so unsettling,
Kirumi commented. Kaede stood in contemplation. It didn't add up. Korekiyo had been very kind to her before. In fact, he had... I hope I could introduce you to her someday. The pianist smiled. That sounds nice. Oh. Kaede gripped her shoulders tight, her knuckles draining of color almost as quickly as her face did. I basically gave him permission to kill me. He wasn't human, Tenko stated, lacking in emotion, though not in resolve. He was a monster, plain and simple. Tenko couldn't risk letting him roam free, even
at the cost of your own life,
Ryoma finished. Yes.
Tenko, you just wanted to save us,
Himiko summarized. That's true, Tenko replied. But it was still wrong. Tenko should have found another way. What Tenko has done, it was unforgivable. No, that's wrong, Kaede argued. That's not true. You saved us. You were trying to do the right thing. You did the same thing I did, went unsaid. Tenko is thankful for your words, but it doesn't change anything. Tenko is still a murderer, and Tenko needs to own up to that.
Tenko,
Himiko mumbled. Yumeno-san? Tenko responded, trying to offer some comfort. Before I go, promise me.
Huh?
Don't be afraid, especially not of the way you feel. For all her bluster, Tenko let fear control her this entire time. Fear of Shinguji attacking someone, fear of dying, fear of how I felt about you.
Tenko.
Fear destroys a person's heart, destroys who they are. So don't be afraid. Tenko was telling the truth before. You have a strong heart. Himiko sniffled.
And a big one.
Tenko mustered a smile. So very big.
I promise.
The mage swore. Another deep breath passed through the martial artist, and she closed her eyes in resignation. Monokuma, Tenko is ready. Right, Aruni! Now then, I've prepared a very special punishment for the ultimate Aikido master, Tenko Chabashira-san, the bear announced. Farewell, all of you. Tenko is glad her last days were spent with good friends, Tenko said, with a grin. Let's give it everything we've got! It's punishment time! Game over. Tenko Chabashira has been found guilty. Time for the punishment. Tenko stood firm in a new location. The setting was like that of a martial arts dojo, with sliding screen doors, a floor of wooden planks, and various hanging scrolls adorning the walls. The doors slid open, and new occupants flooded the room. A group of robotic warriors, with their eyes designed to resemble Monokuma's jagged one. The warriors were dressed in traditional black gis, and were held in place with red belts. The emblem on the left breast of the gi showed the school crest of the Ultimate Academy for Gifted Juveniles. The new warriors stared Chabashira down, prompting the girl to bow to her adversaries. Once she raised her head, she took a fighting stance. The four Monokubs, standing to the side, watched in awe as their father hit a gong, signaling the beginning of the fight. Execution number 2. Completely floored. The robots rushed Tenko, though it was not much of a fight. The automatons were intimidating in appearance, but they had no form, no style, no heart. They fought like street thugs, in spite of their attire. To an expert of her craft, Tenko could easily take them down. A series of flips and throws reduced their numbers slowly but surely. Gears and springs flew across the room as they broke apart in the face of Tenko's true power. As the last mechanical threat fell, Tenko breathed a sigh of relief. Perhaps now it was over. Perhaps Monokuma had underestimated her, and she could walk free. No such luck. To Tenko's surprise, the wooden plank on the floor she stood upon flipped upward at a high rate of speed, throwing the unsuspecting girl into the air. She landed with a harsh thud, pain echoing through her body. This was not helped by the fact that she landed on some of the metal debris her previous battle had left behind. The process began anew, now with Tenko being the one thrown around. It was like clockwork. With every landing came another rising plank and another trip through the air. Every crash hurt more than the last, the once proud warrior slowly being reduced to a quivering heap. Her bones broken, her blood oozing from open wounds, her clothing tattered as she was beaten to death by none other than gravity. At this point, the Monokubs were completely invested in the proceedings, so much that Monokid and Monosuke failed to notice that Monofani had stood up in an attempt to get a better view. Their brother, however, was full well aware. With a simple nudge from Monodam, Monofani suddenly found herself standing on one of the wooden boards. This time, the board under her popped up, but unlike the others, this one didn't pop up and move back down. This one carried her forward, toward Tenko's prone body. With the last of her strength, Tenko closed her eyes to avoid witnessing what would soon happen. With a sickening splat, the board crashed into the ground and returned to its resting place. All that was left of Monofani was a shattered mechanical mess. And all that was left of Tenko was a bloody smear. End of Chapter 18.